Hey guys, please get that big orange dongus off the side of my house.
Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon delight.
Today we have a perfect opportunity to show you something that you almost never get to see. And that's everything that is inside of the walls. Now, why that's important to you is because you can understand why your house is built the way it is, what the design features actually do for you, and how that contributes to you having a long-lasting, healthy, happy home. And I just realized I don't have my shell necklace on, so like, this is weird because I literally wear it every second that I'm working. I almost feel naked at this point. Okay, first thing before we even get inside, what you're looking at is actually super high tech. This is a home wrap made by Tyvek, and it's kind of cute that Toll Brothers got their logo on there. This home wrap does a number of things. You may say to yourself, okay, so it keeps the water out. That's an easy one, right? But it does more than that. This home wrap is actually designed where if there's any moisture that's inside of the walls, it'll actually leach it out and let it vent to the outside without letting moisture from the outside in. So it's like a one-way door for moisture. That keeps mold out of your walls, and it's actually a high-tech install and certification as to getting this done. You won't find, after everything is sealed up, you won't find like a single barrier going through it. They even have to use special covered nails. Now the cool thing is, and you don't know this, one of the things that Toll Brothers does is they have a pre-drywall inspection. And I did that inspection with the buyer. He was in Washington, D.C., Mr. Yacht Rock, and basically via FaceTime, we went through the entire house, fixture by fixture, plug by plug, electrical outlet by electrical outlet, to make sure that everything that he wanted was in the exact right spot before we started drywalling, because obviously it's way easier to fix before than it is after. And honestly, not many builders will do that for you. Toll Brothers definitely has their act together when it comes to customer service and making sure their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed. So one thing that's remarkable here, yeah, here we go. So I am in the master bedroom. There is our big, beautiful bay window. And there's a spot for a TV. How do I know? Power outlet's down there. Internet feed is down there. But it's getting pulled up to here. And you can see, obviously this is power. And you can see the line going all the way down. So basically that's a giant fancy extension cord so he can plug his TV in on the wall. Here's an internet jumper that goes through that orange pipe right there. Wherever you see orange, and this is going to be a thing down here, maybe it's not a thing, I'm sure it is, but wherever you see an orange conduit like this, that's basically an internet feed. So that comes all the way down here, out of the wall, and up to where the TV would be if he wanted to plug his TV into the internet. If he wants to stream, well, I'll show you that later. Okay, I had to jump upstairs to show you this, but you see where we have a ventilation tap, right? I am in the hallway upstairs on the second floor in the middle of all these extra bedrooms. And if you follow it, it just kind of stops right there at the other one. So basically, it's just a pipe running from this bedroom to the hallway for seemingly no reason. That is a good thing for you, and here's why. So what happens when you are in a room and the air conditioner or the heater turns on and the door is almost shut, but not quite? The door slams shut, right? And then it's like, and like you have to fight the door to get it open. Well, this jumper here equalizes the air pressure across the doorway if it's closed or if it's partially closed. And that way your door doesn't slam shut whenever the air conditioning turns on. Pretty cool touch. Wandering into the master bathroom, there is something that's pretty interesting in, of all places, the closet. Actually, two things. First thing, we have an added chunk of hurricane protection that's been bolted in. Look at that. That is a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious hurricane strap, along with other gusset bolts. To give the house rigidity in a storm. Here's the part that I think is awesome, though, and you'll see where this is continued upstairs in kind of an ingenious way, but I think this takes the cake. You see this black line coming up and down? That's air conditioning, right? That's the feed that's coming in from the air conditioner, which is directly outside. But Lance, it's in the middle of the wall. Yeah, okay. Are you going to be putting a picture up inside of the bathroom linen closet? Probably not. They were smart enough to look ahead and say, you know what? The air conditioning lines would be super safe if we just stashed it in a closet in the wall, because who the heck's going to go in the wall inside of a closet? Nobody. I like how they think.
Sky rockets in flight, afternoon delight.
Here is another reason why I really like the people that designed this house and are building it, because this is actually a really cool touch. I am in the laundry room. What could be cool about a washer and dryer? Well, I'll tell you. Obviously over here, we've got a water feed. We've got a drain. You've seen this. You have it in your house. The washing machine is right there, and it drains into this little thing, and it goes blah, 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 blah. That's not the cool thing. Here's the cool thing. This is where the dryer goes, right? So everybody has that little steel, like aluminum kind of crinkly hose that comes off the back of their dryer. It goes to the vent. It goes up and around and all through and vents out to the world outside. Well, in this house, they have a feature, and I love that they think of these things, right? So, you know, in your house, you have to get that line blown out. And if you don't, it can become a fire hazard. Why? Because lint collects inside of there. So check this out. You see where that is, right? That's the vent right there. It's like 2 feet long. So lint will never build up inside of here because it's only 2 feet long. It just vents straight out to the atmosphere outside. Your dryer does. So you don't have to worry about having a fire hazard there. You don't have to worry about cleaning it. You could just reach up in there with your freaking hand if you wanted to. I love that they thought of that. I am in the kitchen, and I am standing behind what is going to be the island. So what do we have here? We've got hot and cold water in. We have water drain out, and we have electricity. And you can see those red marks on the floor. They know where the island is going to be already. That's basically plotting it out for you. So the cool thing is, and again, they've thought of everything. See the squiggly power lines that are kind of shoved up inside the ceiling there? That's extra length that the electrician can then come in with. Those are going to be the drop lights. So it looks like 1, 2, 3 drop lights. And if you look at the rectangle, that's the island. Words cannot comprehend how cool that slider is. So that is a, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 panel glass slider. All of the doors can open independently. You can open it a bunch of different ways. I can't imagine what it would be to replace that. Oh my God. But the cool thing is about that slider is, like, for instance, right now, it's right before Thanksgiving. It is still absolutely gorgeous out. And that is, although I have to say it's a little less than typical, it's not unheard of for it to be this nice this late in the year. So at night, what you would do, or even in the daytime, you're sitting here, it's Sunday, you're watching football, you crank that wide open and vent the entire house, because your outdoor patio here is also screened in, protecting the inside of the house from anything that might want to come flying in. And it's like, literally, I mean, short of having the roof on the house retract like it's some sort of crazy convertible car, I can't see a better way to basically get outside living and stay inside than that slider. God, I wish I had that in my house. So the wiring is already in here for the garage door opener. It's going to split apart, and it's obviously going to be way over there. 2 of them. One interesting point here, because this is a separated garage from the house, there is no dedicated power panel normally out here. But what Horry County does is they mandate that there's an electrical panel that goes in here. So you have your own separate breaker box for the garage. Think about that for a second, though. There's like a power outlet over there. There's a power outlet over there. You got a couple ceiling lights, can lights. You've got your garage door openers. That's it. So, like, why have your own dedicated power panel? Well, the plus for you is, let's say that you get your house and you're like, okay, I have a Tesla, I want to put in a Tesla charger. Well, guess what? It's easy to do from right here. You don't have to go all the way back to the main house and plumb into the major power source. It's not that big of a job, right? Obviously, electrical is a big job. You know what I mean. Let's say that you wanted to turn this into a woodworking shop. So you're going to have like an elaborate system of like benches and like power tools all laid out and built in. Well, there's the main power feed for everything. Super easy to wire up. They're trying to look ahead for you. Because again, they don't know what you want to do. They just have to be prepared for all eventualities. And that's a good thing. Back in the house, I am in the living room. One thing that I know that I skipped back over that I wanted to come back and get, right there, most of your houses are going to come pre-wired and pre-built for a ceiling fan, where basically in the major locations. Now, Mr. Yacht Rock, he has them basically in every single bedroom and every single, available room where it makes sense. And there it is. So that's not just a light fixture, and there's some of these outside as well. That is, I think the standard is a 125-pound mount for a ceiling fan. If you want to get a ceiling fan that's bigger than 125 pounds, at that point you're probably into World War II aviation, and you're mounting some kind of like Rolls-Royce Merlin or Pratt & Whitney freaking, Mustang motor up there. But like I said, out in the garage, are there going to be any ceiling fans? I don't think so. I don't think so. Again, they don't want to put in a ceiling fan that you're just going to rip out and replace. So they'd rather not charge you for something that you're just going to throw away, because that's silly. They don't want to do that. They want you to have what you want. That's why there's no ceiling fans in a lot of cases. Here we have a number of lines coming out of the house. So that is going to be a water tap right there. That's for your garden hose, your, you know, silly sprinkler thing for your kids, that kind of thing. The builder calls these whips, which is kind of a cool term, I guess. Here's one that you need to know. Do you remember what orange is for? That's right. Orange is for internet. So what's going to happen, and you see how this is basically at this point is just a hollow like conduit, right? Like there's nothing in there. What's going to happen is you're going to go to close on your home, and this is super common. You're going to see this big ugly thing sticking out of the side of your house, and it's just like sitting there. And you're like, hey guys, please get that big orange dongus off the side of my house. Well, what that's for the internet input. Now, if you haven't closed yet, you don't have internet yet. What's going to happen is after the closing, you'll have the internet people scheduled to come out. Once it's yours, you can legally do this, but not before. And they'll come out, they'll take care of the large orange dongus on the side of your house. They'll cut that back. They'll run all of their internet lines up into there, and it goes through the house, and you never have to worry about it again. So we have a pad where the air conditioner is going to go. On some of your more affordable, let's just call it that, homes, they won't actually have a dedicated pad. One of the things that a home inspector is going to look for, and one of the things you should look for yourself, is to make sure that your air conditioning unit is level. Because if it's off kilter in any way over time, that's going to cause irregular wear inside of the bearings, and it could potentially screw up your unit and lower the life expectancy of it. And that's not cool. These guys have what amounts to a leveled pad. You put your air conditioner on there, you basically dial it in and make sure that it's perfectly level, and you won't have any problem with the long-term survivability of your unit. This is the gas line coming in, and I think earlier my brain wasn't fully engaged, and I was tapping the gas line and calling it a water line. I think because it felt cold, and that was the first thing that popped out of my mouth. So anyway, that was a gas line. Future Lance will fix that in the comment on the side of the video. But hey, right here, here's another common thing. So we have gas input coming into the house. You see that? Where's the meter? You see how that is already pressed up to like 27, 28 pounds, something like that? They pressed that up, and they're basically letting that sit inside of there to make sure that the gas lines will hold pressure over time. That way they know if there's any kind of a pinhole leak, they can find it now, figure out where it is, and then fix it. That's point number one about what's going on there. Point number two, you see this copper line right here? That's basically a grounding wire, almost like a lightning rod, but for the gas, to make sure there's no static electricity that builds up from the gas flowing through the pipes and all that kind of thing. Now, during construction, you're going to get to the point where you're doing your blue tape walkthrough and you're making sure everything is straight in the house. It is super common for this grounding line here to be all wonky-donkey and thrown all over the place and kind of all squirrely looking. Just ask them to fix that. They almost always do. But if they don't, they can basically coil it around and make it look nice. Do not cut this off. Do not shorten this in any way. Bad idea. One more thing, and that gas line being pressed up, it reminded me I wanted to show you this. Hey, look, there's a wall. Here we have a tub upstairs. This is in the extra bathroom upstairs. Oh my God, Lance, there's all kinds of wastewater and icky inside of there. That is for a reason. So again, you're watching sausage being made, and that process isn't necessarily pretty in a lot of cases, but they're doing this for a reason. Now you know you don't have any problems with any of the drains in your house. I hope you were able to learn, as I try not to fall down, I hope you're able to learn about why houses are built the way that they are, because that'll help you when you're looking at the little details on a house that you may be getting built here at the beach. We are full service realtors. We do this for a living and we do a ton of new constructions and we specialize in relocations. If you guys have any questions at all about anything that you've seen in this video or maybe haven't seen in the video, drop them in the comments. We'll be happy to help. Thank you for watching.
Afternoon delight.